Hi, welcome to the Excel layout lecture. In this lecture, we're going to be discussing the basic layout of Excel once you open Microsoft Excel on your computer or personal device. We'll be going through what happens when you first open the document, what happens when you first go through a workbook, and what types of things you need to know from a terminology standpoint when navigating a workbook. When you first open the Excel document, you're going to be taken to a home screen, which is going to give you some different templates, recents, pins, and shared with me's. There'll be a new tab. So when you click new, it'll take you to a blank workbook, shift work calculator or calendar, depending on what you opened last. And it's going to give you a bunch of different templates, which are pretty cool to use if you don't want to use a blank workbook. So when you're going through this, we can obviously click the blank workbook, which we'll get to in a second. We have things that have business templates. So if you click on business templates, it's going to give you thousands of different things that you can choose from price quotations to invoices, to all kinds of different small business templates. You name it, it's probably on here. You can go back. We have personal templates. So when you click on personal templates, it's going to have things like a mileage tracker for work, a loan calculator, family tree generator. There's all types of the allowance tracker, weekly schedule planner. This is great if you have kids. So if you have different schedules, you can do all kinds of different templates that Excel can provide for you. We have planners and trackers, lists, budgets, charts, and calendars. Excel itself also has some different things like a drop-down tutorial, a formula tutorial, and a bunch of different other features. For this particular lecture, we're going to click on the blank workbook. So you double click the blank workbook, and it should take you to the first sheet. So before we get anything here, this area with these little rectangles is called the sheet. So sheet one. Now, if I click on something here, I can go to the different cells, which we'll get to in a second. But the first thing we want to talk about is we want to talk about these tabs at the top. So the tabs are things like file, home, insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, and help. So when I click on each of these tabs, different things are going to pop up. Now, the things that pop up, or the thing that's right here, is called the ribbon. So there's a home ribbon. There's an insert ribbon that goes all the way across. There's a draw ribbon, a page layout ribbon, a formula ribbon. And that ribbon has different things called groups. So you can see these little lines that separate each of the groups. So there's a clipboard group under the home tab on the ribbon. There's a font group, an alignment group, a number group. If I went over to review, there's a proofing group, an accessibility group, a language group, comments, notes, protect, and an ink group. And then in each of those groups, since they can't fit everything in this little area, they have this little extra button you can hit. So under font, I can click this little arrow, and it's going to bring up even more features for that particular group. So we have protection, fill, different borders. I can click out. If you go to alignment, there's more alignment options for you. I can click extra under number. It's going to give me all types of different extra things here. So for formatting, so make fractions or percentages, you name it, it could probably do it for you in Excel. So we have the tabs, we have the long ribbon across. Within the ribbon, we have the groups, and then we have those little extra arrows to give you more options. If we scroll down to the bottom here, we have sheet one. This little plus button allows you to add another sheet. So if I were to click this, it's going to open up sheet two. So now I can go sheet one or sheet two. I can also rename the sheet. So I can double click. I can name it sheet A, click off, go to sheet two, go sheet B. We can name it whatever we'd like. And then we also have a zoom feature down at the bottom here, which we'll get to in a second. So once we understand the basic ribbon and the tabs and the groups and the different ways to set up your sheets, now we can actually look at the sheet and the cells that make up the sheet. So a cell is these individual rectangles that we can click on. So each one represents a single cell. A cell is the combination of a column and a row. So the columns are delineated by letters. So we have column A, column B, all the way to column Z and beyond. So A, K, it just keeps lettering them all the way. And there's thousands and thousands of columns that you could use for a data set or whatever you decide to do in Excel. The rows are delineated by numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to thousands and thousands and thousands of rows. Excel allows you to do a lot of different things with a lot of different data. So the rows and columns are almost endless. You'll never probably get to the end range. If you do, you have a large data set. So the combination of the row and the column is, or the column and the row is the cell. So for example, if I click right here, the way we would label this particular cell would be C4, because my column is C in my row is 4. Now, if I wanted to do 2 cells, if I wanted to go, the C4 and then the row right under it, it'd be C4 and C5. The way I could delineate that particular range, I can go equals C4. So highlight C4 through, which is the little colon, C5, and it highlights the next cell. So that's how a range of cells. So that'd be it top down. Now, if I wanted to go next to C4, I can go D4, and it's going to highlight that particular range. So now I have a highlighted range. So equals C4 through D4. So C4 through D4, that's a particular range. Now I can delete this. Let's say I wanted to do kind of like a box. So let's say I wanted to do something that looked like this. So the way to delineate this, so we want to go from the upper left to the lower right. That's how we would nomenclature our particular range. So for example, I'll do a random one here. Let's go equals K4 through P7. So you see what it did. It did K4 through P7, and it gave me this entire range from the upper left to the lower right. These ranges and how to nomenclature these cell ranges will be important when we start using things like average and sum and really looking at the analytics part of the data. So it's important to understand why using the ranges and where those ranges occur are so important. So when we start using different formulas, we'll be able to practice those things. But in order for you to get what you need into a cell, you always start with the equals, and then whatever you want to add up, subtract, what function you want to use, that's always important. The equals is going to tell you what you want that cell to spit out or where you want your range to sit. So as a review, we have our tabs at the top. Within the tabs, we have the ribbons. Within the ribbon, we have the groups. We have the little extra button here to get more features within those groups. We have the sheet here where we have cells, which is made up of a column and a row. We have the range of cells, which could be on top, to the side, or a large group. And we do that by delineating the top left to the bottom right. And then we have the sheets at the bottom, which we can go back and forth on. We can add extra ones. And we have the zoom feature. So the last part here is the zoom feature. So if I type in rat and cat and bat, let's say that's too small for me to read, I can zoom in and really focus in on certain areas of the Excel sheet. And I can zoom back. I can go super zoom, which we didn't want to do. We can go back to normal. And then we can also use the minus button. Okay, and it gets you right back to the start. So tabs, ribbons, groups, extras, what the cells are, the row and the column in the row, the groupings, upper left to lower right, the sheets and adds, and the zoom features. So that's the basics of the Excel layout. We'll get deeper into the next lectures. We appreciate you tuning in for this particular one. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.